Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. My name is JGOD. In today's BO4 video, we're going to talk about the things in BO4 that just don't make sense. The funny thing about doing a video like this is as you're gathering footage, more and more ideas start popping to your head of what just doesn't make sense in Call of Duty. I'm sure I'm going to miss a few, so go ahead and make sure you comment down below some of the ideas that maybe you had that weren't in the video. Also, if at any point you do enjoy the video, make sure you do like and subscribe with notifications on so you can find your way back. Again, there's about 75% of you that keep watching my videos but still haven't hit that subscribe button. So if you could do me that favor, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Also, if you'd like to stay connected with my other content, you can follow me on Twitter, Twitch, and on my second channel where I cover Division 2 content, which are all linked in the description below. So the first thing that doesn't make sense in Call of Duty is that fire shotguns actually work underwater. So right here, you'll see me get shot, receive that extra bit of burn damage, and then I go ahead and return the favor, kill them off from this distance, get that fire damage, and it ends up finishing them off. And this got me thinking about what else works underwater and what doesn't. So I went ahead and tried the purifier, and right here you can see it doesn't work unless you're actually touching. And that worked a lot different than I expected. I thought it would either fully work or it would not work at all. And they did actually put some modifiers in there. When you're in the water, it'll only work partially. Still on the topic of water, I went ahead and looked to see how the Molotov works. And when you are actually underwater, submerged, it will not even activate. So you'll see me jump into the water and I'm spamming R1. You can see that it's actually not activating. It won't even let me throw the Molotov. So I thought maybe I'd try getting out of the water and throw it in and see if it actually affects the person down below. So I'm going ahead and throwing it in. It will do damage, but it kind of fizzes out almost immediately. And as you'll see right here, if the person is completely submerged, they take 0 damage and the Molotov disappears immediately. So the next thing I wanted to check out was the Tempest shot, because in reality it should only work in one of two ways. The first being it would electrocute the entire water and you'd end up killing yourself. And the other part of it is that it would just short out and cause it to be unusable. But obviously, since things don't make sense in Call of Duty, it's not going to work like either of those options. So as you'll see right here, as soon as I fire it, you'll see the little bolts of lightning shoot across, instantly kill them. The same way it works in Blackout. If you get downed in the water, you insta-die, you cannot be revived. And here's what it looks like from the other side. You basically have no chance. And that got me thinking, what else could I actually try underwater? So I went ahead and tried the reactor core, and surprisingly it actually works very well. And this is probably a perfect type of specialist to use on domination. And what you'll see right here is I actually submerge myself and I'm able to cause damage and actually hold on. You can see the character is actually moving around, kind of swimming. Can't stay underwater too long because you will drown, but it is very effective if someone is on that bridge. Then after this type of testing, I got thinking about what other specialists would probably not work underwater, and I immediately thought to myself, Zero. Zero should not work underwater. Their EMP nade shouldn't work underwater. Their little hacking device shouldn't work underwater. So I thought, hey, you know what? Let's go ahead and check them out. And I was actually very surprised. You'll see I go ahead and throw it here and it doesn't actually activate until the second bounce, which is pretty much how it works when you're above water. So you can see right there, it went off. And now I'm going to go ahead and try and use my hacking device. So I'm fully health up and you can see my hands are moving, but it still hacks the enemy player. So it's kind of weird that they kind of glitched it out, and it makes 0 sense that either of those things work underwater. The other part that's incredibly funny when you actually think about it is how long you can actually stay underwater. So you can only hold your breath for 10 seconds, and then immediately after you start taking damage, and it takes you about 10 seconds to die. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure I could hold my breath and survive underwater for a lot longer than 20 seconds. The other thing we can talk about is the overall time to kill, health regeneration, and the ability to respawn. Keep in mind that this is not supposed to be an ultra serious video. I understand, obviously it's a video game, and I would pretty much bet that if games were hyper realistic, they'd probably be a lot less fun. So let's keep that in mind as we talk about the different health and respawn mechanics. So the first part we'll talk about is that it takes 6 bullets to kill someone right here from this distance with this pistol, which is cool. We get it. It's a video game. You're not supposed to die instantly. Obviously, if you go to hardcore, it'll probably still take 2 bullets from that range. So let's see what happens when we make that distance just a little bit closer. You're going to see I go ahead and shoot them 4 times in the foot and they instantly die. So now let's go ahead and try that out with just fist. We're going to put the weapon away and now I'm going to go ahead and melee them. And no matter what health somebody is at, it only takes 2 melees to kill them, and that doesn't matter where you melee them. So if you punch them in the foot twice, they instantly die. So literally, fists are stronger than bullets. In what world does that make sense? Well, apparently in Call of Duty, that's the way it works. Oh, and if you pistol whip them from behind, it's an instant one-shot kill. So obviously we know respawning just doesn't make sense, but let's go ahead and talk about the health regeneration mechanic. In Call of Duty Black Ops 4, you take any kind of damage, you just prick yourself, and automatically start regenerating your health. And that's regardless of where you get hit, regardless of how much damage you take. So even if you get shot in the kneecap and you should be hobbled around, crippled, walking very slowly, you don't actually change your movement at all. Your just heartbeat starts beating out of its chest. You instantly prick yourself and all is better now. That makes zero sense to me. And I know the game takes place a little bit further in the future, but even that doesn't really make sense to me. So personally, I'm not a sniper, nor will I probably ever be a sniper because I don't dedicate that type of time. But at the end of the day, quick scoping is not a mechanic that really exists in reality. No one's ever going to be running around, just pull up their weapon, quick scope, and you end up getting a hit marker and kill someone. And for that matter, if you hit someone with a sniper bullet, guaranteed they're going down. So I started really thinking outside the box of what else just doesn't make sense in Black Ops 4. Have you guys ever thought about Ruin's grappling hook? So for me, it's actually missing two different components. One is the zip line that comes out as you fire the weapon. There's no actual storage for that. So where does it even come from? The other part that's a little odd is it doesn't appear that it would have the force necessary to actually pull a 200-pound male. It just doesn't look big enough to house any kind of motor or mechanical device that would have the power to do that. So in case you guys have any explanations for what I've kind of talked about so far, feel free to comment down below. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and suggestions. So we still have a few more concepts to talk about that just don't make sense in Call of Duty. One of the mistakes that has probably been in every single Call of Duty is the way suppressors actually work. So when you equip a suppressor, how it typically works, it's going to keep you off the minimap because no one can hear you. But in reality, you're still going to be able to hear that noise because guns are very loud. All the suppressor is going to do is slightly lower those decibels, so you're not blowing out your eardrums when you fire the weapon at close range. So there's actually a few different components to talk about when we're talking about a suppressor in Call of Duty. The first is muzzle flash. They get it right. You're gonna have a reduced muzzle flash when you use the suppressor in real life. The other part that they typically get wrong, and I think a lot of people are confused on even how the attachment works, is when it comes to damage and range. So on several occasions, I've seen in the comments section where people will come in here and say, hey, the suppressor makes the gun weak, it reduces the damage, but it doesn't even work like that. It actually only reduces the effective range, and depending on what weapon you're talking about, you're gonna see a reduction of anywhere between 15 to 25%. And I know a few people are gonna have to look this up to see if it's true or not, but it actually works the opposite way in real life. When a weapon actually has a suppressor equipped, its bullets will actually travel faster and further than without one. And obviously Call of Duty does this wrong because it's a video game and it's for balancing purposes. Imagine equipping a suppressor and it actually had no damage reduction, no range reduction. Literally, it keeps you off the minimap and it's as strong as ever. It would honestly be one of the most overpowered attachments in Call of Duty history, but obviously they've balanced it a certain way so it makes the gun feel weaker. And there's all kind of attachments like that in Call of Duty. Obviously the stock doesn't make you strafe faster. If anything, if you had a better stock, it'd probably help you with recoil. Obviously the grip helps you with recoil, but it's just one way to look at it differently. Attachments are built a certain way for balance, and that's just pretty much how it works. So let's go ahead and talk about a few other things that just don't make sense in Call of Duty, and one of those things in Black Ops 4 is the tac mask. They recently updated it, so some of the things that just didn't make sense make a little bit more sense. Now flak jacket will protect you from the reactor core, a little bit of flame damage, but one of the things that they did not touch and still doesn't make sense to me is that if you're wearing the tac mask, it completely removes the effects that you're going to feel from that EMP grenade, and it actually cuts the time in half if you've been hacked by the ice pick. And to be honest, neither of those really make any sense. So now let's go ahead and talk about how score streaks just don't make any sense. The first thing we're going to talk about is the strike team. So have you guys ever actually thought about who the strike team is? Obviously they got better gear than you because when they land, they're able to eat a bunch of bullets, way more than you are. And if you guys are the special forces, why would you even need a strike team? So they should have been robots in the first place. Not sure exactly how it works. It just doesn't make sense that you wouldn't be equipped with the exact same gear. The other part that's kind of funny and doesn't make much sense is once the timer runs out for the strike team, they just fall over and die. So who goes in on this mission? They don't take any damage. They just run around for a little bit. Once their timer's up, they just fall over and die. That part makes zero sense to me. So now let's talk about the other part when it comes to streaks, and this has to do with the little phone you have to call in streaks. Have you actually seen how big that thing is? It's pretty huge considering we're in the future. We got this automatic stim shot that can heal us instantly. We got the little grappling hook that can pull a 200-pound man across the map, but they're still using first generation cell phones, or actually what kind of looks like a walkie-talkie. Kind of funny. And the other part that doesn't make sense is when it comes to care package, there's literally nothing inside them. Literally when you call them in, you throw something down, a helicopter brings this big old care package, you run up to it, grab it, and then all you do is make another phone call using the exact same phone you always have on you. So we actually covered a ton of things that just don't make sense in Black Ops 4, but I still have one last thing that just doesn't make sense, is why you haven't hit the like button and subscribe with notifications on so you can find your way back to the channel. Appreciate all the support. Thank you for watching. As always, have a great day.